All to the LCS Academy week number 2, powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel, joined by Cubby and a new face for me, Deserex. Welcome to the squad, welcome to the stream, at least with me. I don't know if you're ready for it, but we are getting ready for week number 2's kickoff. Cubby, are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a hell of the last 48 hours. I'm still missing my bag from CLAW, but that was a great trip, and excited to be the first competitive region playing on 12.11. The patch that the LCS will start on this upcoming week. I'm going to unapologetically have my patch notes on the second monitor. I think everyone will understand. There's a lot of changes, and I'm really excited to see how that affects the meta.
Deserex, how you doing? You hanging in there with the play-by-play? Are you reading up on the patch?
Yeah, you know what? It's still an 8 brain, so I'm going to take some time with this patch to see some of the games go out to really take it in. But, man, we had a rock-up coming in.
The smoothness will continue to radiate shine. I know, I appreciate my smoothness. But all in all, we did have Wild Rift icons kicking off over the week, and we had a couple of special members of the Academy broadcast taking part of that one. We had a little video to show them some love, so let's go ahead and see what they had in store.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. Appreciate you showing up on such short notice. I'm sure it was a shock to hear that I'll be at Wild Rift Icons for all of June, which unfortunately means I will not be there for the start.
Still can't believe you got that job, bro.
I invited you all here today because, of course, you'll be the ones picking up the slack while I am gone. Now, first thing on the agenda, we have 6 new players making their Academy debut, and Anime Girl has changed his name to Soul, so make sure to note that. Yeah, no, I can't make it. What? How come? Look, this is my 3rd meeting today. Kenby just got promoted to LCS, and I am buried in his onboarding paperwork. Sorry, man. I don't have time. Don't you know, same here, actually. See, I was supposed to coach CLG Faith this split, but they replaced me last minute with Solo and some weeb named Lopally. So instead, I'm just going to take the family to the lake. Ooh, that's rough. Sorry to hear about that, man. Yeah, I can't make it either. I made a specialty smoothie for a player named Malice, and now he's a positional coach. So I got to lay low for a little bit. Uh-oh. Good luck. Rafkus, I think that just leaves you.
I'm coming to Icons with you, dude.
Shit. What are we gonna do, guys? Here, let me call Kelsey.
Hello?
Hey, Kelsey. Yeah, so it turns out none of my backups can make it.
We already announced this. We hired Sierra.
Oh, thank God.
You didn't ask that Kungus guy? Right? Just so we're clear, I've been meaning to fire him.
Much love to Rafa and Kangas. That video gets me every single time. Kangas actually put a lot of effort into putting that video together. But really? huge appreciation of them, and Kangas actually getting to host kickoff the event was huge. So much love. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that wonderful board meeting that we had for Academy.
I'm just glad that Rafa got to sneak in there. You know, I feel like that
Wait,
one
that
day
was
we
Rafa?
had Rafa host.
What?
Rafis, my bad.
What?
Rafis, yeah.
Okay.
Please protect Rafis. You know, we need that.
We stand Rafis. But speaking about the competitions, we got to continue down the road. We have Wild Rift. Now we have CLOL that finished up. We have a new Collegiate champion on the Dawn, and I can appreciate it so much in the way that it was, Cubby.
CLOL this past week, I mean, it was a blast to be a part of, like being
I
in
wasn't
the studio,
super
seeing
impressed.
so many kids just be excited to play on that LCS stage is something that honestly was super energizing for me. And hey, in terms of the games, we have a new champion, University of St. Thomas, their first year fielding a team in CLOL. They end up beating Maryville 3-1 and just destroying Bay State in the finals. Huge congrats go over to them.
And I only started getting into CLL last year with Winthrop and the Doxa arc. This whole thing that we saw unfold with the University of St. Thomas really did remind me of that, especially considering what happened to Winthrop at the start of the top 8. But University of St. Thomas, it was a phenomenal performance coming out from them. I mean, they bested the favorites and took it all the way to the finals.
Yo, these players, man, just seeing the journey, even just from start of Collegiate of last split, right, and seeing where they're at here now, and especially I know, hearts go out to the whole team, but Kitsuo and Robbie Bob got a special place in my heart. The fact that they were able to lift that trophy, it literally tears in my eyes. Like, look at that. Like, that is teamwork. That is friendship. That is a legacy that is starting to be built at University of St. Thomas. And I can appreciate it so much, Cubby, and being able to see that roster kind of come together the way they did.
It was cool and very well deserved for them, especially Pelto, holding the trophy at the end.
He needed it. He needed to get that grab up there.
Yeah, and our collegiate season, it started with the first LAN at Harrisburg. University of St. Thomas taking that win and ended. University of St. Thomas had to make a couple roster changes, but that didn't stop them from holding up the trophy in the end. So huge congrats to them again.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's, again, keep an eye out on all those players. Keep an eye out on any developmental CLOL. It was such an incredible tournament in all actuality, and especially that top 8 was very fun. So definitely keep an eye out for all those rising stars in CLOL. But we also had continuation of competition because we have League of Legends all over the place, Cubby, and it was the continuation of the PGCQs.
And for the University of St. Thomas, they stay hot. Team pending, that's 3 out of the 5 members that were on that team. Shout out to Kitsuo, Robbie Bob, and Shookies for having the biggest upset of the tournament, I'd say, taking down Evil Genius's Prodigies. And, we had 3 LCS affiliates moving into PG. The only one that's still standing is 100 Thieves Next in the top side of that bracket, Desiree.
Yeah. 100 Thieves Next. There's so many good storylines that go off here. You were just mentioning 100 Thieves Next. The top lane Prodigy, that is General Sniper. The mid lane stud, that is Dark Wings. You even have Skytech from EGA last split over on AoE. But the team that has been popping out to me has been Team Fear. Now, I had a small conversation with the producer of Unified, Emily, one of the most hardest working people I know. And we were talking about what to put onto the Academy channel. And I wanted MU versus Fear because I believe Fear could find that upset. No discredit to MU going from 12.9 to 12.10 in 2 days. Yeah. That's a tall task to do, but Fear have been running from it. They are a team that are making waves. Dragoon, his insane proficiency on Darius, Blaze, being able to hold his own against the measuring stick against mid laners. Last split in Academy, Ryoma. There were so many good things coming out from Fear. MU, they're going to be back stronger. APA, Niles, and the boys, OQ2, you're going to want to watch that. But right now with this top 4, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of new faces, a lot of good names. And I'm very excited to see the continuation of it because there's still so much action on the horizon itself. You mentioned just in that last conversation, as well as Cubby foreshadowing it in the beginning of the day, but it is a new patch here in Academy, and it is a biggin. We thought we just had the big changes. Well, look at this list, all right, Cubby?
Oh, man.
My smooth brain can't handle it. I don't know.
Yeah, 29 champions being changed in this patch. Not to mention, there's already been a hot fix as well. Honestly, I'll be honest with the viewers. This patch, I have a few guesses, a few things that I think might be good, might be bad, but from what I've heard in scrims, there have been so many changes within this patch that honestly people are just willing to try a lot of things in scrims. And so scrims have been pretty wild, and we'll start to get more into it as we get closer to the pick ban, but there is so much to go over, so much to talk about. I think that we can start with what we saw in 12-10. My eyes immediately go down to that bot lane. Cog Senna being nerfed and a buff to Aphelios. Aphelios historically is a really good matchup into Lucian. I think that Aphelios Lulu was good on the last patch to play in a Lucian Nami. Aphelios only got better now, so I'm really curious to see how this affects the bot lane specifically.
Yeah, with all the changes that came up, I'm personally curious about the jungle. One of the big picks that we saw last week was Talia. Got played 4 times, 100% presence. Did get dialed down a lot with a lot of that wave clear towards the mid lane, but there were some buffs coming out for the jungle role specifically, and Armeo is someone who got to play that in the jungle. It's a very exciting champion for what it's able to pull off, and Armeo pulled it off pretty well, so I want to see that champion still stay up in prominence. There's a lot of favorites that are popping up. I'm watching that Vigar, I'm looking at you, Insanity. Lots of big changes.
I think the thing that stands out to me is the stability in jungle and some of the picks that are getting buffed in jungle, like especially when I look at the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao, things like that. jungle is already so prominent right now in the meta, and I'm very interested at how much more so, especially with our level of academy junglers, how that kind of pans out for them, and especially, you know, being able to see that work itself out in the next couple weeks as we have a little bit of time, hopefully, to break down this patch a little bit. But do also got to talk a little bit more about some new things as we have been, and talking about new patches. We also got some new players in the list, and Cubby, I know you got one in particular that you might be on a soapbox about. I don't know, but we got a pretty good list coming in here in Busio, Darshan, Mash, and Kumo.
Yeah, of course, as more visas get in and get close to coming in, we have more players. But honestly, Busio being swapped out, of course, Busio, there really isn't enough good things I can say about this guy. I've been singing his praises since he ever subbed in, like week 3 in spring. The fact that this player is a mid lane role swap to support and hit such high highs as a mid laner, again, moving into that 2021 season, Busio was number 1 on 100 Thieves list to pick up for both mid and support. The fact that he is a support and what he learned in his first split of Academy, he went from being absolutely lost on the map in weeks 4 and 5. Keep in mind, that team, they were the worst team in the second round robin of Academy. But then watching Busio, watching 100 Thieves Academy improve, scale throughout Proving Grounds, and how Busio evolved as a player. He went from being lost on the map to winning his team games on his own by his map play. And the fact that he showed that much improvement that quick just makes me so excited to see him again in summer and see how much more Busio can improve and elevate his level to that elite ceiling we really feel like this player can hit.
Yeah, and I think being able to see Busio come in, but as well as all the other new faces coming in with some very interesting changes. By the way, that last name, we'll get to that conversation a little bit later.
Yes.
But we did have, you know, our social check-in of the week, and we got to bring up some tweets that we thought were a little interesting. Acadian, a little bit unfortunate, but you know, the 06 good week. You know, loses and improve, right, Cubby?
It's a tough situation for Golden Guardians at the moment. You know, Chu stepping in, doing his best as a coach, it's admirable, but also he hasn't played competitively since Season 8 spring. So, you know, while he has access to Champs Queue, his job is to be a coach, and I think GGA, I'm holding off my reservations on them until we get to see that full roster. Give him a week or two to sub in, but on the bright side, Desrex, I know that, you know, for GGA, you were kind of excited to see a Ray later, thought he had a decent week 1.
Yeah, I thought his mechanical prowess was there. We saw some pretty good things come out of him, so I want to see more once we finally get that full roster. Once they finally get their mid laner, that's a big piece that is missing out of GGA.
Yeah. It is indeed. Let's continue to check out some of these social interactions. You got Jenkins with the defeat of his old team in spectacular fashion as well. The 4-2 first week back in Academy. Happy to beat my former teammates in TLA. Looking forward to the rest of the split. Can appreciate that one, Desrex.
Yeah, I mean, it's the former TLA journeyman. He spent so much time with that roster. Always hot swapping with Dokla on top of that last year, which is makes it funny coincidence coming into this one. But it's got to feel good for Jenkins. You know, we had a little bit of questions in those first few days whether he was motivated or not. But snapping back against TLA, the defending champions, a good statement to make.
Indeed.
Also, that interview was fantastic if you want to go back and check it out.
All Jenkins interviews are.
Yeah, he spoke really honestly about, you know, his career, some of the defeats he's faced, and, you know, what the split of Academy means to him coming up. So definitely recommend you go back and check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Now we do have a continuation here as Busio got a picture with big fan, his idol, Carria. It is the Carria of NA, apparently. In
Not apparently. It is. It is. Come on.
And we do have that synergy going. So Busio going around getting the rounds with pictures, by the way, Cubby.
Yeah, he had Faker the week before. Obviously, 100 Thieves, they did boot camp in the T1 headquarters. And, you know, Busio coming along. I'd say missing 1 week of Academy is well worth being in Korea and having some of the experiences that he had. So really glad he's had those experiences. Also glad he's back, as he is not the only player back. As Darshan pictured in this photo. He's going to be playing today.
Mr. President, he's back. He's back again. But expect the unexpected C9 win. It is Darshan coming back into Academy. I think that one's going to be really fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun because last week we didn't have him. He was over in Coachella. I'm fully convinced he was performing on the main stage of Coachella. You know, so now he's back here. He's ready to perform on the stage of LCS Academy.
I will say, so, you know, one of the reasons that we didn't have Darshan, some good news for C9 fans. Obviously, there are visa issues across the board, but Fudge is back. So that's why we have Darshan now in Academy. So expect Fudge to start this upcoming weekend. Really excited about that.
Indeed, indeed. We have one more tweet to go through, and it was Dokla. This thread, I know we only have one of the tweets, but this thread, man, it all stems back from, not wanting to eat at night, wanting to be healthy, and then, people always posted food pics on Twitter. I can feel that, Dokla. I feel you. Those midnight meals look so good, don't they, Cubby?
I mean, especially like while you're in Korea, the time difference too. It's like 14 hours or 12 hours if you are Pacific time. So, every once in a while, if flipped hours, maybe see some food you don't want to see at the wrong time, get hungry, throw off your sleep
Arrow
schedule.
baiting
Not great.
him. Arrow baiting him, man. Arrow baiting him. And then they continued to have like a conversation. This was like, no, wait, don't do that. It was actually hilarious.
By the way, shout out to Arrow, as I believe Players does premiere tonight, as 2 p.m. or midnight Pacific. So Arrow, of course, is a star in that show. So
Everyone go check out
multi-talented.
Players.
Yeah.
I believe. But it is time to get to the nitty-gritty. It is time to talk about today's schedule. As here on the Academy stream, twitch.tv/Academy, we'll have Golden Guardians Academy taking on FlyQuest Academy to start us off. TSM taking on 100 Thieves, and Dignitas Academy taking on CLG Academy to round us out. Now on the Path to LCS stream, which is twitch.tv/Path to LCS, it is Evil Geniuses Academy taking on Cloud9 Academy first off, and then Team Liquid Academy taking on Immortals Academy there to finish off the day. It's a lot of fun stuff across the board, a lot of fun games to kick off week number 2. If you want any of that information, if you want to follow any NA developmental, if you're wondering what CLOL was, if you're wondering what any of the developmental scene in NA is, you got to follow Path to LCS on Twitter, because that is where all of the content, all of the discussions, all of the information is posted. Please, 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 we appreciate all the love we've already gotten, but it is the home for all of NA development. But now it is time for our first series of the day. I'm personally very, very excited for this one. It is Golden Guardians Academy versus FlyQuest Academy. I know people are saying, Golden Guardians didn't look good to start off week number 1. You gotta love a comeback story. You gotta love an underdog story. And I think that's where we have to first of all look at the Golden Guardians Academy roster as a whole, Cubby.
It was a tough week 1 for Golden Guardians, as we summed up. They do have a coach playing for them still. That is not supposed to be playing for him, as of course Cadian is going to be that starter for Golden Guardians this split. But I'd say for the side of GG, we're still really looking for some of the members that will be sticking around with this roster for the split to step up. I know I'm really looking at Concept's champion pool. Curiously enough, actually playing a lot of meta champions, whereas usually we know Concept for playing his pool. The Urgot, the Mundo, the Singed, all very common picks that we saw out of Concept. So far has been Gwen GP, only one Wukong game, which is a champion that he was known for in the last split. So I'm really curious to see if that continues, and if it's an evolution that Golden Guardians is trying to push Concept to really push his play forward, or if it's just Concept not quite being ready to pilot those champions on the stage, because he does have the lowest goal differential at 10 out of all top laners right now.
There's their beautiful shining faces. And I know, Desrex, you have a little bit of an in-depth discussion about the bottom lane, who would be the piece that I would be looking to really strengthen the ties on the team for the rest of the split.
Yeah, it's a rookie, right? Array now just showing up on Golden Guardians Academy. Right now, I fully believe he's going to get a buff, and that is the UST buff. He is UST alum, and as they just won a trophy, he's also 100 Thieves next alum. They might win Proving Grounds. He's going to get a double buff right now.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, despite the losses that GG had, there were small mechanical plays that I saw from Array. You saw that
nice
dodge right there onto Rosethorn, thwarting the dives that came out of CLG. Of course, CLG taking that win against TLA, so nothing to really short them when it comes to credit.
Yeah, I think that's something you have to look into. I personally put a spotlight on Chime, even if the performance hasn't been exactly what you want from week number 1. I think Chime himself showed us why this guy is something to be reckoned with last split at the end, and especially now coming into the new split, being able to see, trying to pull the pieces together with a lot of changes and things, Cubby.
And again, Chime is the support that, we are really excited about moving forward, as it's someone where, if you asked anyone on our team who the supports that we're looking to that could potentially play at the next level, it's Ayla, Busio, and Chime. And Chime is someone that feels like he's always trying to punch up and make sure that, he's one of those names that's being mentioned first. And someone that I felt was a huge part of the success that Golden Guardians had in spring. Remember, that roster took third. It's a little bit different coming into this split, but Chime was a beast last split, and I'm hoping that we see him start to pick up where he left off because, of course, 06 week, only team that did not win a game in our first week of Academy. Tough times for GG, but have a chance to make a statement against the hottest team that we have in the league, our first place squad in FlyQuest.
And we got to talk about the FlyQuest roster because first and foremost, my boy, Philip, Joshi's boy, Philip, everybody's boy, Philip is making it to the LCS. I had to get ready. I had to, stance up here and get ready because that man got promoted, and that is super exciting. But also super exciting is the fact that we get Kumo into Academy again and being able to see his development as well.
Frankly, this was surprising to me. I will be honest. I know that FlyQuest had a really hot start. I think that Philip was doing okay with little to no resources, but I still, when we're talking about top laners that we feel like are promotable for Academy, I'm still looking at Tenacity, Surdy, and then maybe even Bradley. Soul had a killing week 1 debut as well. Philip feels like someone where I am nervous about how he performs on the LCS stage, but hey, it's a huge opportunity. And one of the things that we said throughout the last week was you have to make the most out of your opportunities. We were talking about that for all the subs that we have in Academy to start off the split. And for Philip, I'm hoping that he proves me wrong. He's a great kid, a great interview, and has a huge chance to really make a name for himself early here in spring.
Can I just say that I appreciate the Academy roster announcement? Little graphic there, Desiree.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is so cute, man. I love brands that do stuff like this. Over in Proving Grounds, we had DK Crew who's doing something very similar, doing the monkeys as their player pictures. Just stuff like this is so charming as hell.
Yeah, it is indeed. And when you're looking at the roster itself, true. But when you're looking at this roster itself, something we've always talked about, especially behind the scenes and as an integral piece to FlyQuest Academy, is the development of Yuji as a core piece on their cubby.
Playing very cautious.
Yuji was killing in week 1. And I think one of the reasons that I was so excited about Yuji is that he's doing so much better when it comes to reading the state of his laners. And, this is a play where he really doesn't do much. He's just up here to hover Philip and make sure they can't overcommit for a gank, but that ended up netting him 2 crabs. And, some of the movements like that, just knowing how to play out his own jungle matchup to really help the team. Another instance where, again, Yuji, he's just sitting here making sure that his bot wave gets the wave in, gets a good base for themselves, understanding that in this same game, again, does he have to do anything in this play? No, but is he making sure that when he is showing, he is helping out his team and helping them get closer to their win cons? Yes, and that's something that where Yuji, it felt like in spring, a lot of times he was playing with blinders on. Really not paying attention to what his laners were doing and trying to funnel himself. Now we're seeing Yuji, know when to take a step back, know when to drop camps, know when to skip camps in order to help out his lanes. That is a huge sign of improvement when you have the mechanics that Yuji does, and then you combine that with the knowledge as well. It's a big step forward. I was really impressed with Yuji's play week 1.
And I guess that's where I want to deep dive a little bit more into. We put spotlights on a little bit of different areas of the map, but the competition on the other side of those highlights is pretty intense. We started off with a Ray Chime. They're facing up against Tomo Diamond. That is, we've talked about it so much last week, where it's like playing with cheat codes for FlyQuest Academy. I think that's a super intense matchup to put a little bit of a look-see on. Desiree.
Yeah. You have to look at the performance that we saw out of Tomo and Diamond last week. With the changes that we saw happen coming to the meta, with everyone going these super aggressive bot lanes, the Lucian Namis, the Kalista Renata, Diamond and Tomo were just like, well, grab me a Phalios and Janna. And it worked so well. They knew how to neutralize. And yeah, I loved it too. I think there's so much strength in this bottom lane for FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think Janna, especially on this patch, is a filthy champion. And the fact that Diamond was kind of ahead of that, again, I was asking for a Phalios Lulu into the Lucian Nami. They were playing a Phalios, into Kalista, into Lucian. That is something where you can control those picks when you have Gravitum. You have that route. You can bring junglers for gank assist, set them behind early. And Aphelios is a late game menace to get items. I thought that Tomo and Diamond laned superbly. There were a couple mistakes outside of lane where Tomo stepped up mid when he probably should not have, but he is leading all marksmen with gold differential at 10. And a lot of that was from how Yuji was playing around that bot lane and how damn well those two were playing the 2v2.
Yeah, and speaking of, I want to key that right into talking about Yuji because he is facing none other than Acadian on the other side, legendary jungler, a lot of experience under his belt. Yuji himself on the come up. I think that matchup is going to be integral too, and I think it's important to look at the opposite side of the spotlight there, Cubby.
Acadian's someone who, I mean, even with GGA's tough week 1, I felt like Acadian was actually playing all right. The Graves for him was, his Graves game I thought was really good, and it was close to being, it was probably GGA's closest game to taking a win in the past week. But I'd say, this is something that could be a good test for Yuji. Acadian's someone that, I think his reputation was always, some of his mechanics, but also I always thought that Acadian had really good reads on when he could be aggressive. And that's something where Yuji, as he's kind of figuring out when and where to drop camps and help out his team, if you make mistakes against Acadian, I still expect that he's a coach that, or I should say while he was coaching last split, I still expect that he is a player that should be able to punish you. So, good matchup.
And a lot of what Acadian did early on in Golden Guardians games was decently successful. He was trying to play towards the bottom lane of Array and Chime, and going on picks left Diana, you had mentioned one earlier, but being able to get kills down there, trying to enable that lane. The early game plans for Acadian are working out, just the transitioning towards the mid game and the later games that we need to start to see snap out of Golden Guardians.
And I guess that's where also, the solo lanes come into heavy bearance about that. And that's where I want to try and dissect this top lane matchup. First of all, Concept himself wanting to show up, but Kumo coming in here. And I think Kumo was lauded before. The reason why, FlyQuest Academy were kind of put on the radar was because of Kumo's come up and the rest of the squad with him. So I think that's an interesting conversation. What do we see out of Kumo coming into this one, Cubby?
It's something where when Kumo has played in Academy, it felt like Kumo was playing really well. I know specifically the start of the last summer, Kumo was smurfing in Academy. He was up there with Tenacity and Jenkins as people that we thought were really strong. So really curious to see if Kumo can really pick up where he left off and have a big series. As Deserex, looking like we're getting close to pick ban. Mazel, any last words before we say goodbye?
Yeah, no, you get no last words. You're out of here. It's champ select time, Mazel. Now, we are ready. Golden Guardians Academy versus FlyQuest Academy. Game number 1. A lot for Golden Guardians Academy to have to come back from after that week 1, Gubby.
And because we are on a new patch, it is 12-11. I do want to spend a little bit of time kind of prepping us. 12-11, I'd be very surprised if we see Zeri let through today. I think Zeri has been a monster pick on the patch. We've even seen Zeri. I've heard rumors of, where Zeri can go on the map. We'll have to see if that ends up coming true. But even after the hotfix, I'm still expecting that Zeri is pretty good. Curious, though, as early on, looks like a couple bans being thrown at some comfort. We have Azir being taken away from Spyrax, and while Concept hasn't played that Urgot yet this split, still drawing bans for it.
Yeah, and of course you don't want the safety of what happens when you get that Senna down in the bot lane. Usually being paired up with the Kench, very hard lane to break. The early aggression of Lucian, not going to see the Rift as well. So we're waiting for these changes to show in the draft for this latest patch. One more ban to go.
Yeah, and Tahm Kench actually did get a huge buff on this patch too. So while Senna's soul drop rate was changed, TK is actually really filthy, and we might even see TK in the top lane. We'll see. That's definitely something that a little bit of an out there counter pick, but with the changes they made, it's a little bit stronger. But hey, the power picks we saw in the last patch, a lot of it was Talia, Wukong, and Gwen. All of them are up at the moment, Deserex, and it looks like Talia will be that first lock in here for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this lock in. Talia coming through once again. This is going to be the 5th time she's been played in this season so far. And the flexibility, of course, between the mid and jungle role. I am a little bit more excited to see in the jungle now that we did have those buffs go through for it on the jungle camps alone. But that will be locked in for Golden Guardians Academy. Armeo already showed presence over there. But you were talking about that Zeri locked left up. It is hovered right now for FlyQuest.
To me, that's a bit surprising, especially given that Tomo was one of the best Zeri players that we had in Academy last split. He was 6-3 on the champion. I think his DPM numbers were off the charts in Proving Grounds. He was playing a lot of it, and that is given over to FlyQuest. So that tells me that the plan for Golden Guardians, they have to play fast, and they are sticking to that plan because Kalista Nautilus being locked in, it is point-and-click lockdown against the Zeri, and Kalista does give Nautilus that backup plan.
And having that duo, of course, the potential you can do with just the engage, the crowd control, the chain of CC, and the setup for this Talia to get those seismic shoves, how devastating it can be if anyone's caught out of position on that one. But now one more hover to come through. Are we seeing the path changes shape up, Cubby?
Wow.
Yes, we are. Tarek locked in the bot lane for FlyQuest.
Okay, this is really, really interesting to me because, you know, in the Nautilus, they were hovering the Braum, hovering the Tom Kench. But the Tarek, I actually really like this because on this patch, they increased the stun duration by 0.25. But also, keep in mind that when you form the bond on Zeri, that is actually granting a shield. Zeri does get benefits off that. So she gets benefits from getting shields and also taking away shields, which Nautilus has. I think it's actually a really clever lane coming out of FlyQuest Academy. A good read on the patch and syncing up with Wukong too. If you go invulnerable with a W and then you get hit with a Tarek stun, there is humongous wombo combo potential on the side of FlyQuest. So I think it's even more important that Golden Guardians keep on indexing towards this early game because things do not look good for them if we get past the 20-minute mark on even footing.
The thing I do like about Golden Guardians is they have a lot of damage that can kind of take you by surprise, and it takes a bit of time before the Cosmic Radiance does come down and put that invulnerability onto the entire composition of FlyQuest. The team fight, though, of FlyQuest is something that you don't want to mess with if you're on the side of Golden Guardians.
And it's something that FlyQuest, even last split, they really were known for. The fact that, you know, FlyQuest, if you got past the 15-20 minute mark, I thought they played the map and played team fights really well, especially in the 1-4 setup. That's a setup that I feel like Kumo, even subbing in here, does fit in really well. Should have experience playing with this bot side, as of course Tomo and Diamond were on the squad last year. So we'll see what Kumo... I expect Kumo to have 5 pick, and frankly Golden Guardians expecting him to have 5 pick as well, as it looks like they're going to take away a couple mid laners. And curiously enough, actually taking away that Camille. That's a pick that I would expect Golden Guardians to want to play, as it's really good to lock down that Seri in the Hextech Ultimatum, but banning that for themselves, I'm curious what they have planned.
FlyQuest going to take the Ahri into the mid lane, so this is just going to leave one more pick available. It's going to be the top pick counter pick coming out for FlyQuest, as you had mentioned. Kumo will have that priority over there. Now just waiting for the solo lanes, potentially jungle coming out from Golden Guardians, which so far a lot of early aggression, a lot of early harassment. That back end damage to the Ren can catch you off guard. What are they going to complement it with?
I mean, it could be Lissandra just continue to commit to the lockdown as... actually, I really like this, though, for Golden Guardians. I know coming into today, I said that Concept was playing a lot of the meta champs. They were flexing Gwen. There was some Gangplank as well for Concept. Champions that I've seen him practice in Champs Queue, but I've never really seen him pilot, you know, on his own, like in a competitive game. So I like the fact they're giving him some comfort with the blind pick in the Mundo. And that is the big combo as Choose, the coach, playing the Yone Talia into this Ahri.
Okay, I know Choose had some proficiency on Zed. That was one of his favorite champions to play. You know, you're still staying in the melee realm with this one, and you have a lot of potential with this Wombo that's going to come through from Golden Guardians Academy. What is going to be the response from FlyQuest, hovering over towards the Aatrox for now. That's the counter pick they want to go for, as Kumo will be playing that in the top.
3 melees for the Aatrox, a comfortable lane matchup, but one of Kumo's better champions, as I gotta say, FlyQuest, it's interesting to see the read that each team has on the new patch. I really benefit FlyQuest, as Zeri, again, on this patch, is filthy. It's going to be really important that Golden Guardians is able to utilize the depth charge, the ultimate from the Yone, the Unsealed Fate, to make sure that they are utilizing those to combo the Zeri and blow her up. And we'll see if FlyQuest can use the Tarek to try and counter that. Again, that ultimate, if it's casted at the right time, can totally break the plans of Golden Guardians.
Now, for some of this team fight that's going to come through, we've talked about how Diamond is now kind of taking this leadership role for FlyQuest. You know, FlyQuest have had a lot of advancements coming through. Yuji has grown quite a bit since the last season. His performance has been phenomenal. And it feels like these are the two champions who are going to be the big engagers for this, the big decision makers for this game coming up. And this puts a lot of power, in my opinion, going over to FlyQuest.
I think that's a nice read, and I always like talking about, you know, some of the behind the scenes, like who leads what. Diamond is one of the most vocal players, and especially singular figures that we have in any academy team. He is responsible for a lot of the comms, a lot of the calls, and a lot of the game plans for FlyQuest. I guess one of the reasons that we oftentimes see FlyQuest play towards bot, because when Diamond is freed up, there's more comfort for FlyQuest to make the right calls, as their shot caller can then, you know, kind of move around the map and dictate the pace of the game first. But I like that call out, seeing how he's able to work with Yuji. I think that's something that FlyQuest was one of their weaknesses, and especially early on in spring when Yuji was brand new to competitive play. But again, Yuji's been fantastic at the start of the split, and this Wukong Taric has a lot of potential to catch Golden Guardians off guard.
And over on the side of Golden Guardians, you know, this bot lane I've been trying to hype up a lot more with the Ray and Chime. I'm curious to see how this patch is going to shape up that bot lane, because normally when you have Kalista, it gets paired up with that Renata, and it's just early game fighting. It's looking for those early waves to go through and to find a fight right away. It's going to be hard to try and match that against the Taric and Zeri if you're trying to chase them right out and trying to take that fight right away. So, I mean, only time's going to really tell on that bottom lane just how aggressive Golden Guardians want to run with it.
And I think that that's a good place to start looking when it comes to this game, because Chime on the Nautilus, if you don't make plays in the first 5, 6, 7 levels, all of a sudden FlyQuest is going to have a huge advantage in this game. So I think how Chime's going to be able to get out of lane, how Chime can work with Acadian. We talked a lot about the Wukong Taric. Taliyah Nautilus is a great combo too. If you land one of those dredge lines, chain it with the auto, you can chain it with the Seismic Shard from Taliyah, and all of a sudden that's someone losing all their HP, especially in the early stages of the game. So Golden Guardians will have a lot of priority and a lot of playmaking early, and we're just going to have to see what they're able to do with it.
They have a lot to overcome in this, you know, roster that we have from FlyQuest. Coming in originally as just the 5-stack unit, now swapping in Philip, getting promoted, Kumo now coming down. It's an amazing start for them nonetheless, though, because we remember last season with FlyQuest, it was 0-6 to start it off, and then with this week, 5-1, the momentum seems endless.
That's something that they talked about a lot on Twitter. And again, they were the top dogs that we have after week 1. A lot of people expected that to be in the hands of Team Liquid, but no, it was FlyQuest. They proved it with their play. They have the chance to continue to prove it now.
All right, hitting the Rift. FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians Academy. And on a brand new patch to boot. Concept being on one of his favorite champions. You know, the old, the matchup coming up tomorrow with the Concept versus Alorum. I'm dying to see just to, you know, you get the whole Spider-Man memes coming out of those two.
I wish we still had Alorum playing, man. Darshan's back. That would be that would have been such a banger.
I forgot about that, man.
Yeah. Well, we also did an interview with Alorum during Proving Grounds where he said like Concept's just stealing my game, you know? He's playing all my champs.
Unfortunate, but still, yeah. I mean, he's here in spirit in his champion pool with Concept.
Minions have spawned.
And as we start out this game, again, something that we've commonly seen from FlyQuest, I do want to focus on the junglers, Yuji on this Wukong. We've seen a lot of pathing top to bot, making sure that Yuji is able to support the bot lane, as they're the ones that are looking to play a little bit more aggressively. But curiously enough, in this one, I think that Yuji might be concerned about bot lane priority, as Kalista Nautilus should have shove, especially early. So I think starting on the bot side, making sure that he can secure that crab on the top side once all the camps spawn, might be the game plan here for FlyQuest, and that means that Tomo Diamond will have to really weather the storm early.
I mean, what was the normal Yuji game plan? It was always to go bot. It was somewhat predictable in the last season. I did feel like this season complemented that a lot more, given how well Yuji was able to perform and just how volatile these bot lanes are. But now, going to have to change it up quite a bit to match what's going to happen over on the spot side for Golden Guardians, given the aggression that they have, already going for a little bit of an engage here with the early shove.
Yeah, nice sidestep there by Chime to make sure that they went out on the trade. We do expect Golden Guardians to win that lane early. And hey, if they are able to stack up a wave, there is a big potential for them to make plays early, especially with Acadian on this Taliyah working his way down. We do have a mirrored start to the jungle path, so that means that Yuji will not be able to answer. Acadian's able to make an early play down in the bot lane.
And remember how deadly that combo can be, the Nautilus and the Taliyah together. I mean, pretty much anyone who has a form of crowd control, just like that charm right there, Nautilus can set up beautifully. That Seismic Shove, so much damage just waiting to happen.
And it doesn't look like Acadian's going to be here in time, but still, bot lane from Golden Guardians paying dividends early. As on the top side, nice trade here from Kumo. Connecting the chains, going to help out. And FlyQuest, I really like how their laners are playing out these lanes early. I know the bot lane is under pressure, but Spyrax, I think, doing a great job early. Let's see if Spyrax can dodge out in this one as a good roam from Chime.
A nice knockup to come out of Choose, but running the right direction will be Spyrax. Chime still walking forward. Looking for more. Acadians over in the bot lane right now, so no one's going to be really able to lock down Spyrax. Can't close that distance. But just the pressure being applied there from that that push that was coming out from Spyrax, trying to lessen that.
And we've given a lot of credit early to the improvement that we've seen out of Yuji, but Spyrax also has had a great start, was a big part of the 5-1 week 1 for FlyQuest. And even that play, you know, hovering on the right side of the map, making sure he's on the top side where his jungler is at and where the enemy one is not, helped him dodge out on that Nautilus gank. And overall for FlyQuest, being up gold after the first clear, again, this Golden Guardians comp's on a timer. So the fact that things are even early, really good news for the side of FlyQuest.
I mean, one of the reasons Yuji's been looking so good, partially is what you just said, Spyrax. Their synergy together as a mid-jungle duo has been shining out in that first week. Now we're just going to see if that can happen again. Still looking for a play is going to be Acadian.
Just find the reset, and now will not be able to hit the timer where that bot lane for FlyQuest is shoving out. And I think, as you mentioned, Deserex, Yuji, look at him. He's not even going towards that Gromp quite yet. It was just, you know, pathing bot, knowing that this is a spot where his lane is vulnerable. So again, Yuji delaying his own camps to make sure that if Acadian was sticking around, they would be able to answer, and just making sure that his bot lane can crash this wave, get a good reset. This is a really good read from Yuji. Once he realizes that Acadian's not around, he goes back to his camps. But again, that's delaying himself for the betterment of his team. This has been the real sign of improvement we're seeing out of Yuji early season, and it's good to see him continue it in week 2.
Just that pressure alone was spotted out on top of a ward, but that's enough for the Golden Guardians bot lane to say nope. Accept the push here. The wave too big on top of that, but now that it is neutralizing, you know, still waiting for those windows for the Golden Guardians bot lane to try and find one of those engagements, because the closer we get to level 6, the harder it's going to be.
And might be forced here, as Golden Guardians, they do have an item advantage. As a nice side step from Tomo, but now that E's burn. So I want to see Chime just flash auto and combo with Acadian.
Yeah, it goes for the flash auto. Tomo a little bit too slow on the flash. Now Acadian showing up here, puts down the earth, still looking to land a threaded volley.
Nice.
A beautiful seismic shove from Acadian. First blood for Array.
Good play by Golden Guardians, especially that bot lane, stepping up, making sure that that wave could not crash. That's the reason that they were able to pull off the play. Itemization advantage for the marksman, and the fact that FlyQuest hadn't based in the bot lane means they get punished. Much needed first blood going over to Golden Guardians.
So needed given the draft of the Callista and Nautilus. As I was saying, once the Cosmic Radiance is available for Diamond and Tomo in that bottom lane, it becomes very hard to kill them. It becomes very hard to dive them. Tarek is really good at keeping his marksman alive.
Not quite able to do it there, but of course that was one of the changes that we saw out of Tarek in this patch. The heals now give a little bit more of Tarek's max health over to the target, and also cost less mana, which is a big deal for Tarek, who does struggle with mana early. So oftentimes we used to see Tarek rush a tier to make sure that you had the mana to sustain in lane, but at the moment, looks like Diamond not opting for the tier, instead trying to get some of that health.
Might look for the match. FlyQuest are calling over Yuji. The wave is pushed in the mid lane, so this would be hard for Spyrax to get freed up without losing too much here. So a little bit of a concede coming up from FlyQuest, but not a full committal from Golden Guardians. Not willing to start that one off yet. Now Yuji kind of stalking this bot lane. Got a little bit ahead just a moment ago, thanks to that play that we saw from Acadian. Now Yuji looking to equalize.
And again, Yuji just hovering, knowing that if this bot wave is frozen in front of the Golden Guardians turret, especially with Tomo missing sums, that is a free real estate for Golden Guardians to go try and purchase and conquer, right? Taking down that series. So again, Yuji, a good hover, just helping his bot lane crash, reset that poor lane state. Really like the hovers coming out of him early.
And now looking over at this top side, Kumo having quite a bit of control over here. You know, for the top lane, it has become kind of this self-sufficient lane as of lately. It's pretty difficult. It feels like you're left on an island a little bit more than in the previous patches that we've seen. So Concept having a rough time over there. Mundo does have some decent survivability. Wave going to crash forward as Kumo takes his reset.
Yeah, that matchup really sucks for Mundo, especially if you don't get help. So good to see Kumo stepping in, playing his Aatrox the way that we know Kumo can play it. Has good charm, lands, Choose, not able to connect.
Yeah, trying with that ultimate right there, but not landing on a Spyrax. And Yuji, he's sniffing something over here. Might come over the wall, waiting for the clone. No ward on him, and Choose is playing towards the side. Hopping forward is Choose. Now Yuji's looking for the engage. Has his level 6, has the Cyclone, but the charm not able to land. Choose gets away.
A nice third Q from Choose to make sure that, you know, buying a little bit more space to dodge out on that charm. But with Choose having the base now, we're going to see Spyrax match the reset, and that top wave will be shoving in FlyQuest favors. So I think after UG clears out these camps, we could see Golden Guardian, or I should say FlyQuest, really try and push, make play around this Rift Herald.
You already have the control ward over there. Concept trying to get some control for his lane, sadly. Kumo's not going to allow that whatsoever, and UG will just have his way with his top side of the map for the most part, and that's why Golden Guardians Academy, realizing they have the power over there with Chime and Array, this early game duo, to start up the Dragon.
Yeah, picking up the first Dragon, of course, not a bad thing for the side of Golden Guardians, but if Rift Herald does go over to the side of FlyQuest with no extra punish from GG, I really favor the start for FlyQuest. Again, taking gold on a scaling composition early, always great. You can contest the Dragons later in the game when your comp has more items, has more power under their belts, and see FlyQuest at least attempting to start Shelly, but hey, the roam from Chime and Array will be enough to push them off, and I like this from Golden Guardians.
Felt a little bit cheeky, but the ward right there did spot Shelly going for the reset, so Golden Guardians fast right now. Leaving from that Drake, going all the way to the Rift Herald. Kumo not able to shove that wave and crash into the tower fast enough. It's finally going to move forward, and already the response coming out of Concept, but in the right place is Acadian to make sure that gold is not going to get funneled onto FlyQuest.
Yeah, I like this choice from UG, knowing that FlyQuest, they aren't strong enough to contest. They're going to try and cut Chime off, try and find a kill, but good hover from Choose. Honestly, both teams playing this out pretty well. I think very respectful, but rightfully so from FlyQuest. And Golden Guardians overall, with this early comp they have, does win out on the play, as Tomo isn't able to get enough resources to really make Shelly worth it. So good stuff from Golden Guardians.
Rift Herald now picked up for Golden Guardians. Looking at what lane you really want to apply that to. Now, you could see it in the bot lane if you're looking for a fight over there. You could see it in the mid lane over here with Choose. Even in the top lane, a little bit less so given the pressure that's being applied, but got to hold on to a little bit of that. UG trying to stalk over towards this bottom side. You're also seeing Spyrax being called down.
I think the game plan for Golden Guardians is it should be to try and just murder the bot lane of FlyQuest. Set the Zeri behind. Again, if Zeri is not set behind, Zeri will destroy the later stages of the game. So I think Golden Guardians has not done enough to set Zeri behind, but hey, a Talia Yone roam plus Shelly, if they're able to take first turret, really put Zeri on the back foot, that could be exactly what the Doctor ordered for Golden Guardians. So I'm really looking for them to make that play, as Acadian will be hovering bot side while his bot lane resets. So maybe after he clears out the Raptors, we see him try and get on the map, do something positive for his team. But until then, it really feels like FlyQuest are the ones who are surviving this early game, losing gracefully, and putting themselves in the best position to win this game once their comp gets strong, 20 minutes plus.
It's a very common composed performance coming out of FlyQuest right now. I would say the same for Golden Guardians, which to me is a little bit of an issue given how early they want to take some of these fights. Now, for FlyQuest, just biding their time on some of these losses, making sure they cut their losses more than anything else. The Golden Guardians are trying to make action on the map right now as they try and get these deep wards in, control over the bottom side. Array gonna fight it out with Tomo, but see a little bit of that damage that Zeri shining through.
This is good, though, because Diamond is stuck mid, and this is spotted. So Golden Guardians, they have 3. Yeah, they have the fast track. This is really well done. Is Tomo trying to trade out?
Yeah, trying to challenge onto Array. Depth charge goes out. Array sidestepping. One more hook to go through. Easy catch coming out from Golden Guardians. A brilliant cut right there, but we're not done. Choose looking for the flank, able to get a knock up. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance. Invulnerable will be the members of FlyQuest. A stun onto Array, and the Cyclone starts to swing. Now looking to back off is going to be Array, but gets caught out by UG. UG able to get a shutdown on that one. The stun coming out from Diamond.
Oh, wait.
So good, but Golden Guardians are not having it. They take it right back to FlyQuest.
And honestly, Choose played that fight so well. The double knockup at the end, that was what it was able to turn it around in favor of Golden Guardians as Diamond hovering mid. Love how Golden Guardians really saw that, instantly said, all right, this is our time. We need to go now. And they at least find something on Zeri, set her further behind, went out on the play.
So nice that play was. We got to take another look at it because, as you said, completely cut out was FlyQuest on that one. And the call made for GG, dive Tomo.
Yeah, look at the minimap. Diamond, UG walking through mid. The members of Golden Guardians are already here. And with this Talia, you can play extra fast. Exactly what GG is able to do as Tomo kites it out, buys some time, buys some damage, but it's a great combo from Acadian. And this is where things get weird in the back half. As Diamond on the Taric was almost able to sustain this fight in the 4v3, make sure that it ends up going in FlyQuest's favor. But it's Juice really on the Yone, the coach, again, subbing in, playing admirably in this game as he stacks up the Q, finds the 2-man knockup, and that's what helps him trade it in the end.
With every stun I saw go through, I really thought this was going to be FlyQuest's fight, but Choose, my goodness, with some of this mechanical play, getting the better of it.
Yeah, it was Wukong and the clone, but, you know, we're still going to count it. We'll give Choose that one, you know?
And with this, it does put Golden Guardians in a better position. You know, they want to take these fights. They want a good early game. They want to get the gas pedal already pressed right now. The turret plates are falling off. So sadly, not going to be really able to cash in on that. Just going to get a charge in the mid lane.
That's actually a really big bummer, the fact they weren't able to drop Shelly in the bot side. I think a bit of a mistake, maybe trying to greed some extra gold, but on the bright side, they at least were able to get some mid pressure as this has started. And FlyQuest, curiously enough, they actually really want to contest. That's a TP from Kumo. Big match.
Now, they have no Cosmic Radiance. Kumo doesn't have the World Ender, but still going to challenge right here as the Cyclone comes out from UG. Now jumping in is going to be Choose. Instantly backs off. Chime a little bit too low here. Spyrex will chase him down. Kumo grabs the kill, but look at Tomo, completely unchecked on the back line, starting to ramp up and get more. A kill goes through, though, as Concept's able to grab one. Now Concept chases on to Tomo. He's a tanky boy. With that ultimate popped, he's able to sustain all the autos coming out from Tomo. Feels like mosquito bites as Golden Guardians hold the ground.
And Tomo is still trying to stack it up, playing carefully around the wall. I believe the ult will run out there, but FlyQuest, honestly, going even with the health advantage and getting resets first, I'm curious if they try and fight this again, because all ultimates are down. The only people that have access to the ultimate, it's going to be Diamond with that ult. And looks like for FlyQuest, because they took the resets, we'll just go to the top side of the map. Golden Guardians, at least able to pick up the second dragon. Again, taking the steps necessary to give themselves the best chance to win the game, but these fights are even early, and we can already see the power of the Zeri, even without a mythic item, pumping damage in that fight.
Yeah, a lot of that damage that went through, you know, having the Cosmic Guardians would have been nice for this fight, but unfortunately they had to make the play and they had to make it now.
Expensive cooldown, rightfully so. And again, Tomo, this is some of the power of the Zeri. You can just be self-sufficient on the backside, and there is no Immortal Shield though, but when you pop that ult, you have the dash, just hiding out, running away, doing that chain lightning damage. FlyQuest, a little bit of an overextension into the choke as they try to take down Acadian. A really nice knockup again from Choose. Make sure that Spyrex isn't able to walk out with a kill. But 1 for 1, Dragon going over. FlyQuest, I think okay with that. As we're going to have to see how this mid game goes, because this is where GGA can really push the pace. But it's only a 2k gold lead for them at this point, and they're going to need more as this game goes on if they want to try and contest this Taric area.
That scaling is going to start to get nasty. A little bit of a ticking time bomb that's coming through this. And FlyQuest making the play into the bottom lane. Poor Choose down here.
Man.
UG with an easy pick.
Tomo played that so well on the Zeri. And again, once you get the shield bow, this champ can get out of control even in side lanes. As level 10, that's only down 1 level, and Tomo making the most of that range versus melee matchup. So we already see things starting to get, I wouldn't say out of hand for Golden Guardians, but Zeri getting fed is exactly what FlyQuest wants in this game, as Tomo, on his best champion from spring, continuing his fantastic start this summer.
Oh, looking for something right now is going to be FlyQuest after seeing that hook miss and seeing Kumo on the flank. Goes right after Array. Array trying to hop out of this, but UG says no. Catches him with the Cyclone. Array goes down. Chime over the wall. Has to flash to stay alive, but Spyrax will clean up that kill. Finally, a trade going back in as Concept's able to get a shot down. And here comes Choose with the knockup. A double kill coming through from Concept as it's getting turned around. All thanks to Choose. All thanks to Concept, but Tomo arriving, pops the ultimate. Kumo oh so low. A double kill coming out for Choose, who tries to get away from Tomo, but Tomo's looking for the cleanup. Tomo versus Concept. Place your bets right now. Goes into the bush. You can't hide right there. They're just going to call it even.
What a mess of a team fight breaking out, Deserex, as a FlyQuest, I feel like they overextended. They didn't really have a good estimate on the health gain that Mundo has when he procs that ult, and all of a sudden Mundo started running down everyone on the back half of that fight. I think it's the second time we've seen FlyQuest overextend a little bit in this game.
And what an ultimate to come out of Choose. What a performance to come out of Choose to
yeah, huge.
be so strong, be so prominent in a lot of these skirmishes, a lot of these team fights. It's really keeping Golden Guardians looking good in the mid stages of this game.
Gonna take a second look at that craziness as we do see Golden Guardians in the back half taking Dragon, or I should say top inner turret in the Rift Herald. As again, FlyQuest, I like this from them. They're trying to make a proactive play. It's a really good engage from Diamond and Kumo, but on the back half, Tomo's not here, and Choose just starts shredding as a beautiful ultimate connect, takes down Spyrax as he snaps back, and it's really Tomo heroics on the back half that make sure this thing goes even, as Tomo, again, was set behind early, but it really feels like he's recovered nicely. And we're going to have to keep our eyes on this area, especially in this next team fight. We'll see if FlyQuest wants to try and contest this upcoming Dragon.
And in the amateur space, Concept had a pretty big reputation of being a stellar tank player. You saw what he was able to do in that last team fight. He absorbed so much damage and eventually left the fight looking a little bit healthier than he came in.
Yeah, I also, that Frozen Heart, I know Mundo doesn't really benefit from the mana, but having that against 3 auto attackers is going to feel pretty good this game. So Mundo is going to get tanky, and it just means that Zeri needs more time to scale in the team fight. Zeri, as long as you're stacking up that ultimate, going to feel good. Standard build on Zeri now. I've seen mostly Immortal Shield Bow into Phantom Dancer. So Tomo looking like he's going to be following that. And honestly, at this point, SRX, we'll just see if FlyQuest decides to fight this upcoming Dragon. Because as time goes on, we still really like their comp, but at the moment, Golden Guardians, they do have that 2.5k gold lead, and they do have the stronger champions at 1, 1.5, 2 items. So I'm really curious if FlyQuest decides to take this. And honestly, it looks like a late reset from Golden Guardians. They just sent 3 back with 20 seconds before this Dragon to shop. This is going to give full control over this bot side river to FlyQuest. So Golden Guardians already on the back foot for this Dragon.
I still think they do have a decent chance to respond because look at the flashes right now. Down for Spyrax, down for Tomo. Acadian is going to be fishing for that seismic shove on one of these carries.
You just see TP. That's actually a late TP. They could punish this from Aatrox.
Oh, here comes in. Como looking for something right here as he goes in with the World Ender. Now Cosmic Radiance going down. They're just going to wait this one out. That's a big cooldown coming in now. Golden Guardians, they have their footing. They have their advantage. A flash comes out. Chime can't get the engage just yet, but Concept willing to challenge that right now. Still throwing in those cleavers, still throwing in the briefcases. He's trying to make it big right now. Corporate Mundo wants his money, and he wants it right now as he walks up towards FlyQuest, throws a couple more of those briefcases, and Chime finds the hook. A kill comes in. Acadian able to get it onto Diamond. Now Kumo completely isolated out as Concept is going to chase him away from the Drake. Another hook coming out from Chime. It lands onto Tomo, and Array will clean him up. Golden Guardians, they're looking good, Cubby. What's going on?
It's a great look for them as they buy the ultimate from Diamond for free, and then Kumo trying to find the flank. Golden Guardians, they just go and they're not done.
Oh, they are not done. Acadian eating the charm, but gets a good chunk of damage and going. Golden buys time for Choose to join the fight. Kumo will still grab that kill, but Choose able to get one right back over the wall. He goes 1 for 1 on that last little exchange right there. So close Choose was to going down.
Still should find a turret, but Golden Guardians, that's great for them. Puts themselves on soul point, and honestly, great to see Chime step up in that fight, but I think you called it out correctly, Deserex. Choose has been stepping up huge. Again, this guy hasn't played competitively in like 4 years. He is the coach of this team. It was a tough week 1 for him, but I think on this Yone, a little bit of comfort for him. It's been a really good look for Golden Guardians, and Kumo, again, in this fight, he's gone. FlyQuest has stepped way too far up. Diamond eats the dredge line, and from here, it's a 4v3. Kumo's isolated, can't do anything. Another beautiful dredge line connects from Chime on the perfect member as Tomo, once he falls, this fight's over. Golden Guardians put themselves on soul point, open up the gold lead a little bit more, and it's looking like this comp from FlyQuest, yes, it does scale out of control, but Golden Guardians are making really good plays to make sure FlyQuest can't get there.
Chime, he has play-making abilities. Even in that week 1, Chime was still able to pull it off, and he's looking for more plays to do right now. So good out of Chime as the Rift Herald was picked up by Golden Guardians. Going to be applied now as they start to position around this mid lane. The turret already taken, so a lot of vision opened up for Golden Guardians as they walk into this mid game, looking for the next setup. Look at UG.
UG is not spotted, and you can see Kumo is collapsing. Kumo is spotted, though, over a trinket. We'll see if Yuji decides to go. Control board will help. This could be the collapse. Here we go.
GG going for it. Array not caught out right now. Chime gonna hold the front line. Array still able to get those spears, but Acadian's gonna be the first one to fall as Spyrax comes over the wall. Now Kumo able to land. He swings. He goes for more, but can't seem to get anyone else as Golden Guardians are backing off. They're able to find the retreat. They're only gonna lose Acadian right now. Tomo unable to find more, but the prowess now starting to show from FlyQuest.
You can see he's keeping that ult passive going off the minion wave. As I think just now is when he's going to stop being able to hit champions that will run out. We'll see how hard FlyQuest pushes. Shoes does have ult, is not spotted.
Oh, he's looking for it. He's able to get it onto the back line. He's exhausted, though, and goes down. Spyrax kills him, and the turret down. Now this is bad for Golden Guardians as they run. Concept is so low, and Tomo will finally get his vengeance. Even though another hook comes in, it's not the hook that Chime wanted to take. Another kill for Spyrax.
And just when Golden Guardians were making the plays, giving themselves the best chance to win, they overpush on a mid. They get caught out by a great flank, a great angle from both Yuji and Kumo. And just like that, the lead, all the work that GG put into this game to put themselves in this position, it goes out the window as FlyQuest. They shut that door, they take the turrets, and now looking to take this Baron.
Big plays coming out of FlyQuest right now. 24 minutes into this, they bided their time. They played a very patient game, being rewarded with this Baron empowered siege that's looking to come up next. We got to take another look at that fight. I want to point out, Choose getting in the backline, instantly exhausted.
Yeah, instantly exhausted and taken down. I still think the big part of this was that initial setup at the start of the fight. Not going to catch it in this replay, but Kumo pincering on the side with Yuji and taking out Acadian immediately. I think before the Zanya was able to go off for Golden Guardians jungler, I think that was the most pivotal part of the fight, as Acadian has been doing a lot of damage and is the only magic damage on that team. So that's a really big pick at the start of the fight for FlyQuest, as Golden Guardians, this comp, a lot of it is about controlling vision, trying to get picks. When they push up too far and FlyQuest is able to collapse at the start of the fight, that's where things can go bad.
Here comes the teleport. Choose now looking for the knockup, gets onto the back line, has to back off immediately, but here comes Acadian. Kumo still in the middle with the World Ender. He's getting so much life still. He's getting so much vamp. They finally lock him down. Choose able to grab that kill, and now FlyQuest have to back off.
And honestly, this is going to be an interesting part of the game because, yes, FlyQuest, they do have Baron, but Kumo, 40 seconds away, he TP'd into that fight. He will not have it to get to this dragon, so GG, they have a lot of ults down to the side of FlyQuest. Keep in mind, this is sole point for Golden Guardians, so a big misplay from FlyQuest as Kumo goes too far, goes too deep, and now Golden Guardians looks like they're going to control the soul.
And they have nothing that they can reply to this soul take that's coming through. Sure, you have the Cyclone, but that is it. No Cosmic Radiance, no Spirit Rush. There's no real challenge to be had.
Well done by Golden Guardians. I think definitely catching a mistake from FlyQuest, but hey, that is a huge win for them, taking that dragon, because if they don't, they have to wait another 5 minutes. FlyQuest get all the more stronger in the next 5 minutes. And the fact that they can at least match the soul, one of the most powerful souls that we have in the game, this will really help Golden Guardians bridge that scaling gap that FlyQuest has in the draft. So huge for the side of Golden Guardians, as we could easily be going to a double monster objective game here now, Deserex.
Golden Guardians, they're fighting for it. They want that first win of the season. Week 1 was a very rough start for them. After taking that Dragon Soul, you got something on the table now, but can they finish their dinner? Still trying to chase out FlyQuest. Looking for Diamond is going to be Chime, but just to chase him out and get vision.
Kind of a heater of a game 1 here, Deserex. This is the 10th place team that we had from week 1. Again, the only team not to pick up a win. We have a coach subbing in that hasn't played competitively since Season 8. Honestly, I'd say one of the top performers on his team this game, too, is the coach is doing some good work on the Yone. Scaling comp for FlyQuest, but it's an even game. Golden Guardians, they have soul. I think the big part of this game moving forward is the fights that have been successful for Golden Guardians, they're getting picks. It's Chime syncing up with Acadian and Shoes. And if they don't do that, then things get in big trouble. Because if FlyQuest are able to group up, Deathball gives Zeri the stacks and run things from there, that's where Golden Guardians fall to the wayside. So I think we really have to see if Golden Guardians can control the vision to manipulate setups to try and get picks, or try and make sure that FlyQuest just can't Deathball on them. And then for FlyQuest, the more autos that Tomo gets down, the worse things get for Golden Guardians, and that's an Infinity Edge now in the pockets of Zeri. Not going to feel good on their side.
Well, the first step, at least, waiting out that Baron buff going down. Already done for Golden Guardians as it does expire. Now, waiting out a couple of timers right here. Not much to really play around. You still have 2 minutes before Baron spawns, 4 minutes before the Elder Drake spawns. Golden Guardians still sitting pretty with that Dragon Soul that they were able to acquire earlier. But for the moment, it's about setting up the map.
A couple big items and coming in to the inventories as well, as we're likely to have a quiet 2 minutes here until the monster objectives get onto the Rift. But in that time, it's Death Cap. Spyrex just picked that up in the base, and then check out Chuse's inventory. Infinity Edge could be huge. If Yone is able to get into the fight and does not get exhausted, he will shred the backline if he is able to get on it. So I think some big breakpoints again. Still favor FlyQuest moving forward with this Zeri that should be invincible, but Golden Guardians, they do have ways to deal with it.
All right, only Array showing Chime now
They have
coming on
a
the flank, and Concept on another flank. Not willing to go for it right now. Just chasing out for positioning is going to be Golden Guardians as they rotate between mid to the bot lane and keep these waves shoved.
Still really like the setup here from Golden Guardians. Check out the control ward that Chime placed. Or I should say Golden Guardians placed in mid, and then Chime placed in that brush to always try and find an angle on the Zeri. But Tomo playing it smart, playing close to the walls. As you can see, using those to extend the range of W and the E to skirt on out. We now have a minute until Baron. So FlyQuest getting back on the map. See if they can start to take control. As good damage. Not bad.
Little chunk there. Ray getting a little bit feisty. You know, you have the bot lane shove coming out from Golden Guardians. I'm still looking at that timer for Baron because that is one of the more impactful lanes when it comes to trying to set up for Baron. Lots of shoves coming out all together from Golden Guardians as they try and keep these waves past the middle. Concept already taking his recall. The last major purchase is now coming in before this Baron check.
And we have some resistance shred coming out of Zeri now for the side of Tomo. So Zeri getting even bigger and having a way to at least try and shred through that Mundo. Infinity Edge, though, is completed for Chuse. That was a big item that we were talking about. So Golden Guardians, again, this Yone can at least try and help bridge the gap to try and help attack the Zeri. Woo! Dredge line's close. Well, I don't think Acadians will take this.
Oh, wait, they isolated Diamond, and they get Spyrax on top of it. Acadian with that wall. So big, and Chuse is going to chase down onto Spyrax, but gets knocked up and deleted by Spyrax. Golden Guardians still going to go for this, still going to press the issue. Kumo trying to go forward, goes on,
Tomo.
And now look at Array. Still alive, look at Tomo, still gathering those stacks, unable to be caught out. Chime gets low,
Tomo.
that shred is doing its work. Tomo getting picks onto Chime, getting the autos onto Chime, but Chime is able to find the hook. No seismic shove to be found, but Tomo was found by Concept, and with your marksman down, FlyQuest have to forfeit the fight.
Yeah, Tomo just pushes too far. I mean, the dredge line, it connects, but Tomo wasn't able to sneak over that wall, trying to play that Zeri far forward, but just on the brink of pushing it too much. And because of that, Golden Guardians, the great engage, the great Weaver's Wall from Acadian, splitting up the Death Ball of FlyQuest and isolating that Terek. That is enough for them to net the Baron right before Elder spawns.
Big plays coming out from Golden Guardians, Cubby. They're fighting for that win. They're trying to get their first one of the season right here, right now. So many big decisions going on to that last play, but the biggest one to me was just being able to isolate both Spyrax and Diamond and force them to take that retreat before even Cosmic Radiance could go down.
That was a great start to the fight from Acadian and Chime syncing up. We asked for Golden Guardians to try and, set up the map to get a pick. I guess Weaver's Wall is one way to do that, is you can just play with the terrain to get a pick, is now Golden Guardians fully grouped up. They are empowered with Baron. We have Elder on the map. Tomo's sums are down. So I think we really have to see if they can try and land anything onto Tomo. Look for Chime to Hex Flash and use the depth charge to split up Tomo as, oh boy, that's a big Weaver's Wall. FlyQuest, they're stuck. They're just trying to melt it.
Yeah, they're just going for the melt right now, looking to go over the wall. Cosmic Radiance is going to be put down, and there's the invulnerability. FlyQuest have time to try and win this fight. Going for the backline. Array, still alive, still going to stand. You got to watch out for that Ren, because that can grab the Elder Drake right here, right now. Ren goes through. There's the smite, picked up by Golden Guardians, and they're going to pick up 2 members of FlyQuest on top of it. Concept now on the hunt, now on the chase. Chuse looking to go over the wall, doesn't get onto Spyrax. A briefcase goes out, but Diamond is in no man's land, able to block that and destroy Diamond. Concept will find that kill, and Chime still trying to get onto Tomo. Acadian following through on the Chomo, but there is Chuse still popping off, still getting the damage. Tomo trying to make it happen, but he could not be the hero. He falls. A big fight coming out for Golden Guardians.
And the fact that Golden Guardians, they make the snap call, make the snap decision, it is another Weaver's Wall from Acadian that totally splits FlyQuest up and forces them into a terrible decision. They are forced to go over the wall, contest the Elder. Golden Guardians, they caught it, they took them down, and they're looking to win the game off this Elder push.
Look at the death timer. Tomo was staggered so much, and Choose up and in. Goes after Yuji. First Nexus tower down. Looking to find Nexus tower number 2. A stun. Not going to be found. Finally coming off the respawns is going to be FlyQuest, but you don't have your marksman. You don't have Tomo. This is going to be a very hard defense. Jumping in as Yuji. Will get the Cyclone. Going golden to buy some time. No, it's going to be the Resurrection coming out from the GA, but the kills getting lined in for Golden Guardians. A tough week 1, but to start off week 2, they get a win against FlyQuest.
And, I mean, we have to give a lot of credit to the mid-jungle duo of Golden Guardians. We were singing the praises of Yuji, Spyrax from week 1. They played so good, but it really felt like Acadian was the big difference in the later stages, using the Weaver's Wall to just put FlyQuest in awful positions, and then Choose on the Yone. Coach Buff, baby, he was coming in, having some comfort. He played really well that game. I mean, besides getting caught in that bot lane turret, it felt like he was less of the liability that Choose was in week 1 and more of an asset to Golden Guardians, and that was really the difference that they needed in this set to get their first win of the split.
Yeah, that jungle mid synergy really coming online, and you can't forget Chime. Those dredge lines, able to land them onto Tomo time and time again. It was some beautiful stuff. A great game 1 coming out from Golden Guardians. We're going to throw it over to short break while we get ready for our intermission. Be sure to stay tuned for more LCS Academy.